So let's see, so the first one, if you're a mother, oh look, they made it nice and large for me. Now I can't see it. Look at that. If you're a mother, how do you manage mother's guilt? And actually, I'm going to actually change that to if you're a parent. Are you a parent, Chan?
Not yet.
Okay. So, if you're a mother, then I'll leave it there. If you're a mother, how do you manage mother's guilt, which is juggling your career and family responsibilities? And we definitely have some head nods going on here. So, Indy, do you want to get us started?
Yes, definitely you cannot easily ignore that. Even until now, that mother guilt is always with me, especially if I have to work late, I have to skip, or I have to excuse myself after I promised so many times to my son. It's still there. It's just about, you have to accept it, and the way how I accept it is to explain to my son or to my husband that this is something that I enjoy doing. If I'm happy doing something outside home, when I'm coming back home, I will be happier as well, right? So if not, it's not going to be good for them. So again, it's about communications, it's about being transparent about how you feel to your family. But look, there is no way we can avoid this guilt feeling. I don't know about anyone or any of my female colleagues here able to take out this feeling. It will be always there. It's just about how you deal with it, how you accept it, and how you communicate it openly to your family.
And I love the way that you communicated, that you just said it with your families. Yeah. Tying back to what was said before about mentoring other women who are coming up, it's almost, that's a big part of it, is helping them find those words to explain it to their family, or find those words to explain it to their children, so that the family sees the benefit. You did that really well. Thank you.
Maybe I could just add on. I recall a couple of years ago when my kids were very young, and I was very busy in the bank because of some projects. And for a couple of days, almost a week, I didn't see my son, because by the time I get back, he was asleep and he was in primary school. And the teacher called me and asked me, "Oh, Mrs. Toh, is there something wrong with your family?" I said, "No, everything is fine." I said, "Why?" "Your son hasn't done his homework. He hasn't studied for his spelling." So I said, "No, I'll check it out, but everything is fine." So I asked my husband. My husband is unlike you who can cook. He can't. And I told my husband, "Didn't I tell you to check his homework, to make sure he learned his spelling?" And his answer was, "I did." And I asked, "How did you do it?" I asked him, "Did you finish your homework?" He said, "Yes." So there is still this subtle difference, at least in my family, between what a mother will do and what a father would do. I would open the bag and check the homework. The father would say, "Okay, go and play, you're done." So just to share that experience, I think, like it or not, there's something different about mothers with the children. Fathers, sometimes they're easier, I feel, at least for my husband. So this thing about guilt, frankly, personally, I felt it at a period of time. And I think what's very important and what worked for me, which is what my advice to some of my younger female colleagues was, you need to have a conversation first with your spouse. That's the most important to me. I think if that partnership doesn't happen, honestly, it's tough. And I have also seen people who are very successful and things actually didn't happen in a good way with the family. And it's because I think the communication could have been better at the start of the relationship. And that's my take on that.
I can share two stories. One is, yes, definitely, identify with mother's guilt. Soon after I had my first child, and I took a year off, by the way, for both of my kids. And after I went back to work, it hit me really, really hard. I was guilty that I was not at home. But then, pretty soon after my son fell ill, and although I had a project that I had to do, I had to be at home, and then I had employees' guilt, right? So I soon realized that it really didn't matter whether I was at home or I was at work, I was guilty. And seriously, it was it was something I had to get over. And you know, after some time, I said, you know what, just deal with it. You're gonna be guilty no matter where you are. And so the second story is that, you know, my son is now 16, my girl is 12, and as they started to get older and they got beyond that, you know, I don't want you to go to work stage, you know, when they get to teenage years, they start asking you questions about, you know, politics at school, right? Like, oh, you know, my friends don't like me, you know, I'm in charge of this organization and I'm supposed to lead them, but, you know, nobody is listening to is there something wrong with my leadership style? And that's when I realized that, you know what, I'm so glad I'm working, because I found that I was able to, because I was still very much in the sort of working and corporate space, I found that I was able to add a lot of value to that conversation in the teenage years. And I suppose, you know, it's come a little bit late, but, you know, 16 years on, I no longer suffer from mother's guilt.